Welcome to the show, everybody. Major breaking news on Medicaid and benefits. We are now moving from the "of course we would never do that" phase to the "of course we're doing that. It's what's good for the country" phase on exactly the same issue. House Republicans just dropped a plan to slash Medicaid. The Congressional Budget Office says 13.7 million people would lose health coverage over the next decade if this were to pass. And what's, of course, really infuriating is that we've been understanding the numbers. We've been saying you can't cut this much money without some people either losing benefits or services. You just can't do it. It's mathematically not possible. And they've been saying, of course, we're not going to do that. We're not, for months, they've been swearing up and down that this is not their plan. We're not cutting Medicaid. We want to rein in spending. This won't affect anybody who really needs it, or don't believe the scare tactics from Democrats. And it turns out that the scare tactics were something we like to call the truth, because now even Fox News is reporting it. They're admitting out loud this bill would gut Medicaid if Republicans get it through. There's no more pretending. And their next position will be, of course we're cutting it. We're doing the right thing.
The House Energy Committee releasing its portion of the reconciliation legislation late last night. The bill cuts from Medicaid and adds work requirements and more frequent eligibility checks.
Cuts from Medicaid, adds work requirements, adds eligibility checks, which cost money. And this will lead, per the CBO, to nearly 14 million people losing coverage. We talked in 2017. I know it feels like a lifetime ago. We spoke in 2017 about the Republican healthcare plan. And when that plan was scored, it would have led to 24 million, somewhere between 24 and 32 million Americans losing health coverage over a decade if the plan had passed. It didn't because of that reality. And we never heard another plan since, right? The plan has been 2 weeks away for 5 years at this point in time. And here we are seeing the same thing again. This is what the Republican Party has been moving towards all along. It's sort of a slow, quiet sabotage of healthcare for the poor and for the working class, and they're no longer hiding it. Now, it's important to see this not as being about budgets. This isn't fundamentally a budget issue. It's not fundamentally a fiscal responsibility issue, no matter how many times they say that. This is about taking healthcare away from millions of people so that tax cuts for the ultra wealthy can be protected, so that the yachts and the stock buybacks are unaffected while regular people lose coverage for diabetes care or for prenatal visits or for whatever the case may be. And the cruelty is that this is not some unfortunate consequence of what they really want to do. This is what they really want to do. This is the whole strategy. Cut programs for people that have a very low margin of error in their household budget in order to preserve goodies for people who have a very large margin for error in their household budgets. And they know exactly who it hurts, families and seniors and people with disabilities, but they don't care. We're talking about Medicaid. That is something that pays for long-term care for many people. It keeps NICU babies alive. It helps people afford blood pressure medication or chemo, depending on what they're going through. And this is what will get ripped away if this budget goes through. So if you're sitting there thinking, didn't Republicans say as recently as 2-3 weeks ago that they're not cutting Medicaid? They did say it, and they were lying. They knew that they weren't telling the truth. And they knew that this was actually the plan all along. How do we know that? Because when it's not tied to a specific budget, speaking in general terms, they say we've got to look at cutting these programs. We've got to look at entitlements, as they like to call them. And of course, they use the term entitled to mean something you haven't really earned, something you feel entitled to. But the reason we call them entitlements is you've paid into it. As a society, we have paid into these programs, and therefore people are entitled to those benefits. So they're now admitting it. This is happening. Will voters realize why it's happening? And will they hold the perpetrators accountable? That's a different story. That's a story that is often a question mark in American politics. After researching, writing, refining, The Echo Machine, my book, is finally out. This is not just a book about how American politics got so broken. It's also about what's happening right now and what we can still do to stop things from getting worse. Trump's been back in power. The results have been even more catastrophic than many feared, with targeting of political opponents and gutting democratic institutions, laying the groundwork to even further consolidate power. But the thing is that none of this is inevitable. The same forces that brought us here can be countered if we understand how they work and what to do about them. And that's what the Echo Machine is all about. Some say that without corporate media backing, books like this can't succeed. I think we can prove them wrong. You can get the Echo Machine right now at davidpakman.com/echo on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Audible, Kindle, or by calling any local bookstore and asking them to order it. This book is more important than ever. If you care about what happens next, and I do, check out The Echo Machine today at davidpakman.com/echo.